Hello, hello, everyone. It is Brenda here for Stamplicity, and welcome to What's Up Wednesday. All right, tonight we're going to explore strawberries and ladybugs from Pink and Maine. So we've gotten the new kind of release from my show order, and it was a combination of ladybugs and strawberries and bees. And I thought tonight I would explore all things red. All right. So that is where I'm going this evening. We're going to do a bunch of different things. We're going to explore some of the new dyes that we got in, as well as some of the foiling as well, because it's been a while since we've done foiling in terms of using the mink. All right, so the mink is a little bit different from the glimmer machine. So we're gonna do some fun stuff with that to show you how simple it is. So hello, hello to everyone that's joining us this evening. Thanks for tuning in. All right. Okay. So if I sound a little weird, it's just because I've been a little scatterbrained today, and kind of just rushing around, and finally, I'm whew, here. All right. So I did do a little bit of prep in terms of die cutting this evening, just to make things a little bit more speedier. But let's kind of just show you what we're going to be kind of exploring tonight, and let's try to make as many possible samples as we possibly can, right? So this is kind of the die that kind of sparked this evening's live, and this is from Pink and Maine, and I fell in love with this one. This is a pop-up berry card, and the samples that I saw at the show were just amazing. So I thought I would do this and show you how this is put together. All right, so we're going to do that. We're going to use it not only as a pop-up card, but we're also going to use the strawberries in there to embellish some other stuff. All right. We also have the little cute little ladybug die that we're going to do. And then we also have the cute little mason jar die, which I'm going to show you a couple ways of using that. And then we're going to do some foibles in terms of the strawberry background here. And then I pulled this off the shelf as well to show you what these toner papers are all about as well. So we got lots to go on tonight. All right. So I think I'm going to start with the foiling. All right. So let me put my dies to the side. And let's talk about the mink. All right. Now, the mink is a little bit of a different foiling machine. It's different from the glimmer machine. This is what we call kind of a laminator style. And you need to have toner based products in terms of foiling. All right. So with the glimmer machine, which is a heat activated foiling system, you need heat, you need foil plate, and you need heat activated foil. And then when you kind of combine all of them and you press them all together, the design is then pressed into your paper using the heat and the pressure of a die cut machine. With the mink, it's a little bit different. You are going to get pre-printed designs, all right, such as the strawberries that I have here. And you're going to then lay the foil on top. You're going to go through the laminator, which is kind of a lower heat setting. And then that foil is going to stick right onto that toner, which is really, really cool. So it's a little bit of a different system, and then the heat activated glimmer system. Now, this paper that I'm going to be using is a toner-based paper, so it's going to accept the foil really nicely, and we're going to do a couple of things with it. All right, so let's start with this. So this is a fun little machine. It really is. I think it's very user-friendly as well. You know, it's pretty much foolproof. Where the glimmer machine, there's a bit of a learning curve with it. All right, so this is why I love using this one. So there are different heat settings on this one. And then when you get your user manual, you just read it and then you'll understand the heat settings. But I'm going to go ahead and I've turned this on already. I'm going to go ahead and move this up to a number 5. All right. So I'm just going to wait for that to warm up. You'll see that it is blinking. It's blinking red on the camera. It looks a little yellowy, but it is blinking red. When it is ready to go, it will turn green. All right. So in the meantime, I'm going to get some things ready. All right. So this is one of the foilable packs that you can get. There's all different designs that you can get from Pink and Main. And this one has 8 pre-printed toner graphic panels, and they measure 4 by 5 1/4. So you can still mat it onto a piece of cardstock or in your card front. So you're going to get 4 of the positive and 4 of the negative design. All right. So I'm going to use one of each to show you the difference. All right, so let me grab those, and I'm going to put the rest back in the package so I do not lose them. All right, now the foil, I have the Pink and Main sheer foil, and this is one of the new red ones that we just got in, and this is called Sparkle Red. It's a beautiful sparkly red, perfect for Christmas, but it's going to work really well with our strawberries and ladybugs. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and I'm going to trim a piece here. All right, so it's got this kind of low tack tape to hold it. So I'm just going to pull that off, and I'm going to reuse that because that's going to seal my roll again. And I'm going to go ahead and trim a piece of foil for both of those panels. All right, so I should probably have my foil cutter, but I'm not sure where that is right now. So I am just going to trim with a pair of scissors. And I'm actually going to trim 3 pieces here, and you'll understand why in a second. All right, so I have 3 pieces of foil. All right. And I'm going to take that low tack tape again and then just seal that so it does not get wrecked. All right. It stays maintained in that nice tight roll. All right. So I'm going to stick that back in the container. And now my button has turned green. So that means my machine has warmed up to temperature. All right, so let's start with one of our toner strawberry panels here. So I'm going to start with this one here, if I can pick it up. All right. Now to do this, you need to have your carrier sheet, which I've seen. There it is. All right. So you need to have a carrier sheet. Now one will come with a machine. You can buy these separately as well. I literally had to run back to the store this evening because I could not find my carrier sheet. So I had to go run to the store and pick one off the shelf. So there it is. It's just a heavy piece of heat resistant plastic, really, but it's a little folder. All right, so I'm going to grab my sheet here. I'm going to grab my foil sheet, and I'm going to put it down so that the color is facing up and my pattern is facing up. All right, and then we're going to take that and we're going to just slip that into the foil or the carrier sheet, making sure there's no creases. All right, and now it is ready to go. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to feed the folded side in. I'm going to go ahead and, all right, the rollers will automatically pick it up. All right, you don't have to push no buttons, no nothing. And I just kind of hold that so that, okay, until it's really fed through, and it's going to feed its own way through, which is pretty awesome. Hello, everyone. I'm seeing all the hellos now. All right. I have not used my machine for in a long, long time, so I'm hoping everything will work out here. All right, so as soon as it's fed through, you're going to be able to just take that from the feed there. I'm going to let it cool for a couple of seconds here. I'm going to take that out. And once it's cooled out, then you can pull that off and take a look. Now I have some ripples in there. Oh, what happened there? I have like leopard print strawberries. All right. I'm not sure what happened there. All right, but it's kind of cool. All right, I don't know. Take a look at my leopard print. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my foil again because I'm going to do that again. Maybe I have this too hot. Um, Again, it's been a while since I've used this, so maybe it's too hot. Yikes. Good educational video when can't even do it myself. All right. So I'm going to turn that down a little bit. Now, because I still have toner, I guess this is a learning moment, everyone. All right. Because there's still toner pattern there, I'm going to be okay. It's only going to stick where the toner is. So I'm just going to let this cool down. It seems to me now, I think it's number 3 that it's supposed to be on. You haven't missed much, Lauren. You just missed my mess up. That's all. Uh, the joys of being live, everyone. All right. All right. So apparently my machine was a little too hot. All right. So I'm just going to bring it down to number 3, which I think is this. And if anyone has a Mink machine and uses it regularly, you can pipe in and tell me, yes, it's supposed to be on number 3. All right, now we just gotta wait for that. So like I said, because it did not foil that whole pattern, all right. And if you guys can see, I could notice that there was ripples in there, and I just think that was just the machine was too hot, so it caused that ripply motion on there. But look how cool that is. It is kind of cool. Leopard print strawberries. Anyone else do that? Huh? 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 All right. So now we just gotta wait for the machine to cool down a little bit. We'll try it again. So in the meantime, because I have to use another piece of foil here, I'm going to go ahead and cut another piece of foil because I do need 3. So again, I'm just going to peel my low tack tape off of here. Da, da, da. And then we're just going to trim another piece here while my machine is cooling. All right, Jackie Smith says you might need a piece of copy paper. Maybe, I don't know. I've never used copy paper before, so I just think I have it too high. I don't know where my instruction manual is. It's probably at the store. So we're gonna try it again though. All right, come on, little machine. Cool down, cool down. Hello, hello. To place in your, Jackie says to place in your folder. I don't know. I've never had to place it in my folder before, so I just think it was too hot. All right. Well, I'm going to try it this way, and then at least it didn't catch fire. Says Ruby. Yes, that's a good thing. I don't think it would catch fire. There's different heat settings for different products. Like you can, do it on different mediums and such. So I just think it's 3. Okay, and now I'm being really impatient. I just want to run this through. Come on. All right, I'm just going to do it. Just going to do it. So the rollers will automatically just start rolling. It will accept it. And if this doesn't work, Jackie, I am following your lead on this. Oh, okay, I think we're much better. I can see from the folder itself, it's a much smoother finish. Doo -doo. I am the most impatient crafter. Just saying. All right, so we're gonna let that cool. Doo -doo. All right, and let's peel that back. Oh, much better. All right, now we got full coverage. All right, so you can see from my foil that I got leopard print again because it only attached to where the toner was. All right, so it's just because I had my the heat too hot on here, and it caused things to ripple. But now number 3 seems to be it. All right, so there we go. All right, you can see how beautiful that is foiled now. All right. So I'm just going to use that as a teachable moment, everyone. All right. Read the instruction manual. Know your settings. All right. So there is that. All right. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do my negative one. All right. So this one here, wherever it is black, that's what's going to foil. All right. So again, I'm going to grab my foil I'm going to place that on there. I'm going to place that in my carrier sheet. All right. And then we are going to run that through. All right. So again, the rollers are automatically going in there. So you just have to insert it and it's just going to grab it. All right. So again, we're just going to let that do its thing. Oh my God. And then while that's happening, I'm just going to admire my foiled strawberries here. They're so pretty. So, so pretty. So this one's going to do the opposite, all right? So we're going to have the background kind of in that beautiful red shimmer. All right, so there's that. We're going to let that cool. Oh, my green light finally went on. That would have taken us forever. All right, so we're going to let that cool down. I do have a little ripple in there. All right. All right, but here we go. Here's the, whoa, this is my favorite part is when you take it off like this. Take a look. So, so pretty. Look at that. Love it. All right, so you can see that it's just gorgeous. What is the price of the machine? Good question. I want to say it's around the $130 mark. And you can always check on our website. It is on the website. So, okay. So what I want to do, okay, we're going to do something special with this background and with this background. We're going to make something with it. But I wanted to show you that there is no waste with this. All right. So I did have a couple of ripples in there. But you can see that we've got like a really beautiful pattern that is pretty much pristine. All right. So we don't want to waste this, right? We don't want to waste this. So this is where these toner sheets come in play. All right. Now this is the black. You can get it in white. You can get it in silver. You can get it in colored. And we have them in all the different packs. All right. Now this one here is the smaller version of it, but most of our foilable solids are in a 6x8 sheet. All right. So let me just open this up. And I'm going to grab one of these foiled sheets. Okay. So you can just see it's just it looks like a piece of black mirrored cardstock. All right. Nothing special about it, but it is special. All right. So that is toner based on there. So now what I can do is I can take this here and I'm going to position it on my toner sheet. The back side is white. So you want to make sure you have your foil down onto the colored sheet. I'm going to place this in the carrier folder and we're going to run this through now. And what will happen, because this is toner base, is that foil will stick on it. All right. So again, I'm going to just stick that in and let the machine just do its job. So it's kind of a 2-for-1, all right, when you have these foilable panels, because you're always going to have what is the negative, all right? As long as it foils properly, you're always going to have that negative foil. So then you can use it on the toner. So if you are buying some of the toner graphics, then make sure you always have this in stock too in your studio, in your craft room, so that you can get a 2-for-1. All right. So, all right. So now I can take this, let it cool off. All right. And now when I peel this off, now those strawberries are transferred, the negative of the strawberries are transferred on there. So look, hardly any waste. All right. So if you cut that down and more appropriately, you're not going to have any waste. All right. Which is just brilliant. Okay. So we've got this lovely now foiled on the black. Maybe I should have done it on white, but I did choose the black. All right. So there is that. So pretty cool, right? All right. So I'm going to put that to the side and we're going to do one more. I'm going to take one of these black toner foil pieces and my last piece of foil, and I'm going to go ahead and apply this right on there. I want a solid piece of this beautiful foil so that I can die cut from it. All right. So remember, we're doing strawberries and ladybugs tonight. We need all things red, and we need to have some special shimmery red stuff. So now I know I cut this a little bit smaller, and that's okay because we're just going to die cut from this. So I'm just going to put this right into my carrier sheet now. All right. So there's a lot of foil on a roll. I should probably, there is 25 feet of there. So doing something like this is pretty awesome. Let me just spin this around. Okay, so let me just get this through here and let's foil that whole panel. All right, gonna let it do its thing. And that is the foiling, all right? So can we use a black, Lauren says, can we use a black toner based card to cut word dies, then foil the word die? Yes, or you can just foil the whole thing like I'm doing right now and then die cut. It's completely up to you, but yes, you can do that. All right. So it just kind of is a fun way. It's a little bit different. And you can change up the styles all the time as companies come out with more toner based graphics like this. You're not always just stuck with the same foiling plate like the glimmer system. All right, so there's different ways of figuring out which is better for you. My opinion, have them both. All right, both systems, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna let this cool. I'm gonna go ahead, shut off my machine. All right, and I'm gonna put that to the side. All right, we are done with the foiling. All right, so let's go ahead, and now when I peel this off, look at, we have a beautiful foiled panel now that we can use that for die cutting. All right, so again, you have a little bit of waste here. This I think you can transfer with some, let me just see. Let's just play for a second. Just gonna grab a foam adhesive here, and now I need a piece of paper. I know the Spellbinders foil will do this, but I don't know about this one. So let's just try. All right. So this is just a foam adhesive. If I burnish that really well. Oh, yes. So you can do that with foam adhesive as well. It will pull right off. All right. So you can make your own foam embellishments. All right. So, okay. Let's carry on. Okay. I got to make sure I don't lose this like last time. All right. So we have some foiled panels here. And now let's have some fun with the strawberries and the ladybug die cuts. All right, so I'm gonna grab my foiled piece here and let's do some die cutting from this. I just need to grab my die cut machine. Okay. So for that black toner paper, you can use whatever color toner paper. You can use white on the background as well because you're going to get full coverage on that too. All right. It just doesn't need to be black. I just wanted to point that out. I just had black because I grabbed the black for this background, but you can use any type of toner based sheet. The other thing I want to note as well is that if you have a toner based or a laser printer, that is toner based, all right? So you can actually print out stuff from your laser printer and then you can foil it as well because that is toner based, which is really, really cool. We have toner based here at home as well as the store. So I'm able to do my own sentiments, all right, which is kind of cool. So if you have a laser printer at home, the Mink is a really cool machine to have because now you can print your own things on your cardstock and then you can foil it. All right. So, which is kind of cool. Okay. So let's go ahead and do some die cutting now. So I'm going to die cut some ladybugs. All right. So we're going to do kind of the outer shell here. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut a little piece down here. All right, and let's do this guy here. And then this one here, we can always cut more afterwards. All right, so I'm gonna, we might as well cut 3. Let's do 3. I'm gonna do this one here. So this is gonna be the ladybug, kind of like their outer shells, I guess. I don't know how else you wanna call it, but all right, so just to show you how well this toner sheet, it's just like cardstock now, all right? So, but now we have really pretty die cuts. All right, look at our little shimmery ladybug shells. So we're just gonna put them to the side, and I'm gonna put those to the side. I'm just gonna attach them to my magnet here. And then let's move on to the strawberries. And I'll talk about these dies in a second as we start designing with them, okay? If I can get into here. All right. So I'm just gonna grab the strawberries. All right. Now the strawberry, there's 3 different die cuts. I just want the center one because that's the actual overlay. So I'm just going to grab a little strip of this and we'll cut some strawberries. All right. So I'm just going to line up that middle part of the strawberries onto my panel. Okay, so now we have these gorgeous foiled strawberries. And let's do a couple more. See if I can fit one in one here. No, probably not. Let me just get one here. I don't know how many I need, but I promise you we will use these strawberries on one of our projects tonight, but I just want to get all this kind of prep work done before we start assembly. All right, and I have a little bit here, so I'm going to see if I can get the little strawberry here on this one, and that's going to give us 2 large ones and 2 small ones. And then can you use, yes, you can use these dies in regular cardstock. Yes, yes. These are not just for foiled. Nope. Good question, Anne. I should have done that. All right. Okay. So let me just put my die cut machine. We're gonna have to come back to this, but okay. So now I have some foiled elements, and we're gonna come back to those now. So let's start now playing with some of the elements on here. So I'm gonna start with this one here. So this one here is called the Berry Pop-Up die set. And as you can see, it's a pretty large die. But what it will make is a beautiful berry basket. And it's kind of got a pop-up element to it. All right. So we're going to put this together. We're going to use some of those foiled strawberries on this one here. So I've already taken the liberty of doing some die cutting with this for this, just to quicken things up. All right. So this is what happens when you're at work all by yourself and it's slow. You get to do all the prep work. So what I've done is I've just die cut a bunch of the elements here. So we have this base, oops, let me move this over. We have this piece here, and this will create the basket. All right, so this will create the strawberry basket. And there's score lines on here, and these score lines, when you fold them, will create kind of almost a box element, all right? And this is where kind of the pop-up element comes. It will still fold flat so you can put it in a regular envelope, but it's got a real wow factor to it, all right? So I just did a little craft piece, all right? So I've cut that out of craft, and then there are these 2 pieces here, all right? And they create these little kind of lines on the box, all right, or on the basket. So I'm just gonna grab those and I'm gonna glue them down. All right. Um, I have never made one of these before, so if this does not turn out, you'll know why, but it seems pretty straightforward. All right. So I'm going to work on the basket first. I'm going to use fine line glue, and you can have some fun with the colors. Now, I just chose craft. You could definitely do this in your typical kind of green. You know, the strawberries usually come in the little green little baskets. I did craft. All right, so I'm going to glue these, and these are just going to fit between the little arch designs here. All right, so the arch designs are going to be the bottom of the basket, and you'll understand why. Oopsie. Slipped right off. All right, so that's on. We're going to do the other one. And you could do lovely colors with this. You can make this into a beautiful, colorful basket. I just kept it pretty neutral. I kept it boring. All right. All right, so there is that. Then there is a little kind of a cross. This goes on the top of the basket. So I did it in a darker brown. And we're just going to glue that on. All right, so that is our, it's so crooked. Let's straighten that out. All right, now that's better. All right, so there is what will be our little basket, our strawberry basket. Okay, so that's the base of it. So I'm going to put that to the side. Then we have the next layer, all right, which is going to be this layer here. I'm going to flip my die set around. And it's going to be this one. So there'll be kind of like 3 tiers, all right? So I started with the lowest tier, which is the basket. Then we worked on the second tier. And again, you'll see that there are score lines on either side. So you're going to fold them away from you. All right. All right. And you'll notice that there are little strawberry kind of shadows there. All right. So all you need to do is cut some of the strawberries, and you can layer these on top. Now there are 2 sizes of strawberries. There's one larger one and one smaller one. So you just got to make sure they line up properly. So you just got to fit them on. All right. Now I chose dark brown. You could definitely do black, completely up to you. I just chose dark brown. All right. So I'm going to glue these over top. So this one's gonna have 3 strawberries on here. Okay, so this is a large one here. Again, they're gonna match up really easily. All right, and then this one is going to be a smaller one. So you can see that there's kind of a larger and a smaller one. So let's pop these out. And let's stick this one on. All right, so that is our second layer. Now we're going to add more to the second layer, but we're going to put this to the side for now. That's our second layer. It doesn't look like much right now, but I promise you it will get better. All right, so I'm going to put that to the side and grab our final layer, which is this one here, which is going to be the larger one here. And this has a couple of different things. It's got the leaves on there, and then it's also got these little kind of, I'm going to call them sprouts. All right, so there is a die that does the little kind of florals. I don't know if these are like little buds, but they will fit right behind here. So I've cut them out kind of in a darker pink, and I'm just going to fit them behind. You can do them maybe white. I think, oh, you know what? I think they're like little berries starting to grow. I think that's what they are. All right, so I'm just going to place them behind. Again, they're going to match up. So then they've made it really simple to do. So far, so good. All right, I should have one more in here. It does cut out, there it is. It cuts out 4, and that's how many we need. All right, so there's our little budding strawberries. All right. And then we have the 5 leaves. Now there is a separate leaf die cut as well. So that I thought, well, let's kind of change up some of the colors of these leaves in a different green. So I'm just going to layer these on just to give it some a little bit more um, interest. So I'm just going to grab one and it's just going to actually fit right on there, right? So we're going to get that kind of two-tone green and let's alternate them. And I'm going to grab the other one and then put it on this one here. And then that layer is done. All right. So now let's put this little card together. All right. And you're like, what? Is it going to make a card? Yes, it's going to make a card. All right. So I'm going to start with my little box here. And then I'm going to take my front layer and my back layer. And remember that these have score lines here, these little tabs here. And all you're going to do is you're going to put adhesive on the inside of those tabs. And then you are going to attach it to the back side of this guy here. All right, so let's grab some double-sided tape. You can use glue if you want to. I like, for something like this, I like to use double-sided tape. I should have my tape dispenser here. I brought it home. I just didn't set it up yet. So excited about that. All right, so I'm just going to put double-sided tape on here. And I'm going to start with this one first. And I'm going to line this up. I'm going to line it up to the bottom and to the left-hand edge, right along the score line. And then I'm just going to fold that over. All right, so it's just attached to the back there. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Now you can probably attach it to the front. I'm wondering. I don't think it really matters. I'm going to attach it to the back. I think it's just going to be a better fit. But either or, you'll be fine. All right, so again, you're going to line that to the bottom edge. And then just tack it there. And again, see, now it's starting to form. Look how cute that is. And it will fold flat. All right, so you can put it in your envelope and it will fold flat. All right, but until then, we're going to do that. All right, so now we're going to take our inside label or inside piece here, and we're going to put adhesive on the little tabs, and then we're going to fit this in. All right, and it's going to go right to the bottom, and we're going to center it kind of in between the two layers there. All right, it's kind of like an explosion box, right? All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Now for something like this where placement's kind of important, when I have my double-sided tape on like that, I will sometimes just put some liquid glue on there because that's going to give me just a few seconds for movement, all right? So in case I didn't get it in the right spot, that liquid glue is going to be kind of a little slippery barrier there that's going to allow me to move things into place. So that one is done. Well, that actually went in really easy. All right, so once I have that, I'm going to do one side at a time. I'm going to grab my bone folder and just burnish it on. So that's one side, and then I can do the other side. And once I have it in place, I'm going to grab my bone folder. All right. And when all is said and done, it should still bend and fold both ways. All right. So now I have the 3 layers put together and you can see the box. All right. So it's our little pop-up strawberry box. Look how cute that is. All right, but it doesn't look finished, right? If we look at the sample that's on the back, you can see it's a much fuller strawberry basket. So we want to add some more, and that's where those foiled ones are going to come into play. So I'm going to grab 2 of them. I think I'm going to grab, no, I'm going to grab one big, one small. All right. So let's grab those. And now it's all about the decorating, which is always my that's what I love. All right. So all right. So we're gonna do we're gonna put these kind of in the back, but I'm gonna use um I did cut the backings for these, so we're gonna glue them on. Um and we're gonna use some foam adhesive on these as well. Because I love dimension, right? So we want to just add more layers of dimension. All right, so I've got the backings for them. And that one looks like a large one. Is it a large one? Yes. So we're going to go to and get the large one. Do I have it? No, I have a small one here. Aha. Okay. So let's glue them together. And again, these are going to fit on perfectly. They're the same size. One's just more of a solid, and one's got the little die cuts on the top to replicate the seeds. All right. So, okay. Foam adhesive. Okay, so I'm going to grab one of my foiled ones here. This is the large one, and we're going to stick it kind of in behind these two here, all right? So I'm going to kind of stick it in there, all right? So now we've got that, and I'm going to do the same thing with the smaller one on the right-hand side. Now you could cut these out of regular cardstock as well, but you know, let's have some shiny, all right? So there's our little basket of strawberries. Now our strawberries need the little tops. So I've already die cut them out, so I'm just going to glue them on. So when you glue onto the foiled, it is a slippery surface, all right? So it might take a little bit longer for that glue to tack down. So place it and leave it, all right? The more you fiddle faddle with it, the more it's not going to stick, all right? Or the less it's going to stick. And one more. All right, so there's my little strawberries. How cute are they? All right, now we need to have some flowers in there, the strawberry flowers, all right? So look how fun that is. And having the foil on there just adds another little dimension in there, all right? A little bit of sparkle and shine, all right? Okay, now the florals, I love the fact when they did this, you get multiples of everything. Like even when you do the strawberry tops, you have four that you can cut four at a time. You have double the leaves, you can do double the strawberries, same with the florals. So it's awesome that you can actually just, you know, run through once and you're going to get four flowers, which is kind of cool. So I just cut the florals out of white, and then I did the little centers with yellow. All right. So a little spot of glue in the center. And then let's put our floral centers in there. And let's do two small ones. All right, those are our flowers. Okay, and let's go ahead and attach them now. So basically you want to cover kind of any of the background of that second layer here. So again, I'm going to use foam squares for this. So I'm just going to stick one, and now we're going to position these in place so that it's covering any of that brown that's kind of exposed. And it helps if you take the backings off of your foam adhesive. So we're going to put one there, and look how sweet that is. Oh my gosh. All right, and then let's do a little small one on the other side. Oh my gosh, that's so darn cute. Look at that. So cute. I guess I should put it in camera view, holding it. All right, so now I'm gonna grab this one here. I'm gonna put it on the back there. This one I'm not gonna pop up. I'm gonna go flat against that leaf. All right, and then my other little small one, I'm gonna pop off in front of the box, just like on the sample, because I think it's sweet. And look how stinking cute that is. And again, it folds flat so you can put it in an envelope. All right, then there's also a tag. All right, the tag is a nice size that you can actually put on there. I would stamp a sentiment on there. So I got to find a sentiment that's going to fit on there. But that comes in the die as well. All right, so you can go ahead and stick that on with a little sentiment, or you can leave it off. But look how sweet that is. Oh my gosh, I am loving that. I need to make more of these now. All right. So if you wanted to, all right. So now I would probably put the tabs on the inside of my next one. This way you can still put your signage there and it's cleaner in the back. So tabs, you would then put the adhesive on this side and stick it on the green here. I think that's going to be the better way of doing it. So what I will probably do is cut another one of these back ones in white and then position it on the back here so that I can do my signage. All right. So there's that. It is so stinking cute, right, Anne? Like, oh my gosh. It is better to see it in live rather than just a computer generated picture like this. Oh my gosh, it's so sweet. So I will cut another white one of that back layer, layer it on there so I have that area for signage. All right. And it stands up so sweet as well, right? So how cute is that? All right. So there's that. I'm going to put that to the side and let's carry on now. We're going to continue using this berry one, but we're not going to use the basket this time. We're going to use the berries kind of as an embellishment. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my foiled piece here. All right. And we're going to do a little fun little shaker card with this one here. So I have my shaker covers from Waffle Flower. And I love these ones because these make really quick and simple shakers. So we're going to do this. All right. So these little shaker covers, they're already a heavyweight acetate that's been scored and cut for you. There is a film on here. It will have a little sticker that says to remove it. And then all you're going to do is fold along the score lines. All right, I'm going to remove the film still, all right? Okay, and this is going to create a nice flat shaker. I did this a couple weeks ago, and it just makes a really fun, quick, and simple shaker. So let's go ahead and do that really, really quick, and I'm going to use kind of the remaining embellishments, I think, to decorate. Da-da. Oh, what? No, maybe I cut some extras. All right. So let me, this is probably the worst part of it is getting this film off. So I just kind of scratch it until you get this kind of mess, right? And then you're able to kind of then just pull that right off. I guess maybe you should remove the sticker as well. There we go. Okay. And now you're going to have a nice clean shaker panel. All right. So I'm going to flip that upside down and I'm going to put adhesive all on the tabs. This is just a really quick and simple way to make a shaker panel using these from Waffle Flower. They come in different, you can get circle ones. These are the rectangle ones. All right. So there is that. All right. So when you go ahead and do this, I take my panel and I'm going to put it face down into my shaker panel here and center it as best I can. Da, da, da. All right, so once I have that position, then I hold it in place and then I'm going to remove my backings and I'm going to fold that over. So that's the bottom one. And then I'm going to do, I have a little piece of, okay. All right, then I'm going to do one of the sides and do the same thing. And then I'm going to do the other side. Don't do all 4 sides because then you can't put your shaker elements in. All right. I just trimmed all my nails, so I have no nails. All right, so now we have all 3 sides done. We've left the top because now we can stick our shaker elements in there. All right, so that is just, now we have this flat, lovely shaker panel. All right, so uh, Ruby says, does the card lay flat and what size envelope? So yes, the card lays flat. I believe this is going to fit in an A2 envelope. All right, well, maybe. Yes, these will fit in an A2 because this is 4 inches. So it will fit in an A2. You can also get a nice 4.5 by 4.5 envelope too. So that will fit in there. All right. So it does fit in an A2. Okay, so we've got this in here. So let's put some shaker elements in here. And I chose, what did I choose for shaker elements? I had shaker elements here. What have I done with them? I had little floral ones. I'm sure they're here or some. There they are. I see them. All right. So I grabbed these off here. These are called Valentine flowers, but I loved the red florals in here. So you know me, I love to combine um, these shaker elements with something like a chunky glitter. All right. I don't like just using these little clay shapes. I like to like make these last. All right. So what I will do is when I get a pack of these, I will do some, and then I add some chunky glitter with it or sequins. I keep these kind of special ones. Now, of course, I just want the red ones. You know what? I'm going to go with red and pink. I'm just going to go. I was going to pick out the red ones, but all right. So I'm just going to put some. I'm not going to use them all. I just want them. I want them to be special, but I don't want to use them all. All right. It takes their specialness away. So then we're going to combine that with some chunky glitter. Well, do we want, that looks too Christmassy. All right, I'm gonna do chunky glitter. No, I'm gonna do glass beads. Well, that's because what I have. So I just use it with something neutral, all right? So glass beads. So I'm gonna fill that in, okay? And now I can seal it up. All right, and now we have that flat shaker with the movement of all that wonderful stuff. All right. Ah. All right. Aaron asks, can you use foam tape on the waffle flower shaker panels or just flat double-sided? So the premise with these shaker panels is that they're more of a flatter shaker panel. Because when you start putting foam tape, then you get that extra bulk to it, and then sometimes they don't fit through the mail. All right. So these are intended to use just flat tape with it, not a foam tape. All right. So we're going to do another shaker in a bit. And then we'll use it with foam tape. But how fun is that? Okay. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just grab, you know what? I'm going to grab in my little stash here, I do have a pattern paper here from Lawn Fawn. Since we're using the pink, we might as well bring it in. All right. So I'm going to bring in the pink on here. And we're going to do a little band that I'm going to just trim, and then we're going to embellish it with some strawberries and some of the florals. All right. So let me just trim a piece. And let's do a 1.5 inch strip. Sure. So this is the Bitsy Blooms from Lawn Fawn. All right. So they come in all different colors. We're using the pink because I have another card. So we're going to wrap this around. All right. So that's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to stick adhesive I could probably trim this a little bit shorter, but all right. Whoa. Okay, well, I guess we're committing. I hope that's straight. All right, so I'm gonna just lay that down, and then I'm just gonna fold this over, and now we have a little band on there. All right, so see, and you knew what I was doing. All right, so there we go. And now let's go ahead and embellish this with some of the strawberries. All right, so for this one here, I cut the overlays in red and then I did the bases in black. So let's do a big one and a small one. And this is from that berry box die, all right? So I'm using the same strawberries. And then I'll when I go to mount this on my card, I will probably do it on pink now, just to bring in that pink belly band there. All right, so let's just connect these together. I gotta get to the ladybug still. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're already an hour in. Oh my gosh, that went by so quick. It's okay. We got time. All right, so there are my two little strawberries. Okay, let's get the strawberry tops. Oh, these strawberries are just so cute. They're just the perfect size. All right, so let's go ahead and do a little cluster there. I think we need one leaf. All right, we'll do one leaf and we'll put some little flowers in there and then I'll find a sentiment that will go on there. All right, so I'm gonna do the leaf flat. And then we'll pop up this guy here. And then we'll pop up the other guy. All right, and now let's make a couple of little florals here. I'm going to do one big one and one small one. Same thing, little yellow florals. And let's stick them on. So let's do that one right there. We're going to do that one flat, and then we'll do the larger one with a pop or foam adhesive behind it. And let's stick that right there. And that really kind of brings in that pattern paper now. And then we're going to stick that on some pink cardstock. And I'm going to put a little sentiment on there, but a really quick and simple, lovely little strawberry card on that. So, all right. So there is card number 2. All right. Strawberries. I love it. Okay. Again, I will finish these off camera and then I'll post the pictures tomorrow morning right here on our Facebook page. All right, let's continue on. All right, so I want to bring in the cute little mason jar. All right, so that is, did I show you the mason jar die? I don't know where the mason jar die went. Oh, there it is. Okay, there's the mason jar die. And what's cute about this is you can make it into different jars, all right? So you can do it as the kind of the jam jar with the little cloth lid. You can do it as a mason jar and collect bugs in it, or you can do it as kind of a storage jar like your sugar and flour and such. What I love about this set is that it comes with all the fun stuff, all right? You got the labels, you got the different lids, you got the leaves, you got grass, you got twigs, you got bugs and little labels. It comes, I love the fact that it comes with so much. All right, so I cut some I cut one. I thought it would be fun to do kind of one that's got strawberries all in it. So now I may not finish this one online because I do want to do the shaker card, but I will tell you what I'm going to do, and then you'll see the finished sample. So I cut the little piece on top. All right, so I cut the mason jar in a light blue to represent the glass. All right, then I cut the top, the kind of the cloth fabric lid in a gingham pattern, and then I'm going to wrap twine around it. All right, so there's that. And I'm going to fill this jar with some of those die cut strawberries. I won't bore you now with putting them together. You understand how to put them together, but I'm going to fill this up. I'm going to wrap a little bit of twine around there and then put them on a card front. So I'll finish that off camera. All right, because I really want to do the other shaker card that I have planned. And now we're going to use that ladybug as well. All right, so I'll finish this off camera. To show you how that is done, and you'll see the finished sample, but that one's quick and easy. We're just going to fill the jar with strawberries and a little bit of twine. All right, but let's get on to the next shaker card with this one. So again, I'm using the jar, and this time I cut the jar out of this fun paper from Lawn Fawn. I centered it in there, and I'm using the negative for this. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to back this piece here now with a piece of acetate. So we're going to do another shaker card here because why not? All right. Now, before I do that, I almost did it again. I'm going to mount this on, I'm just going to hold this on to a white piece of cardstock. Bear with me, guys, here. I forgot to get my white cardstock. All right. This will all make sense in a second. All right. So I'm just going to cut what will be my card front. So we're going to do 4¼ by 5½. I did not prep this. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do is then I'm going to position this or frame it on. I'm not going to put it down quite yet. Now, if you feel like this is going to move, then you can always tack it down just with a piece of low tack tape. All right, so which I'm going to do because I feel like it's going to move on me. Okay, so I'm just centering that on because what I want to do is I want to build up the inside of my mason jar before I make this into a shaker card. So I want to use this kind of as a template. So I have this, I've cut one out of blue, that really light blue to mimic the jar. All right. So basically I'm going to just fit that in like a puzzle piece. Let's get some glue in there. All right. So there is our jar. Okay. There is a little lid. I did the mason jar lid. I need my tweezers. There they are. And the mason jar lid I cut out of kind of a silver mirrored paper. And that is going to get glued on my pattern paper just above the jar. Okay, so I'm going to do this. All right, so there is. All right, so there's our mason jar. Now we're going to put our ladybugs in the mason jar. All right. I know as a child, I used to collect bugs all the time and put them in jars all the time, margarine containers. That was my thing. I was more of a tomboy when I was younger. I loved bugs. Now they freak me out. But anyways, so we have a couple of ladybugs here. So I've cut kind of a side profile one, and we're going to glue one of the overlays on this one. And then I have this little guy here. This is what I love about this ladybug set too, is that you get ones that face the right, one that faces the left. All right, so you can see that, and then you get all the ones, you know, bird's eye view and ones that are just ready to fly. They give you all the options. All right, so let me put my little ladybugs together here. And instead of using a true red, I did more of a kind of a red pink because I knew I was going to use that pink pattern paper. All right, so just it's more tone on tone rather than the red and the pink. All right, so this is one of the little ladybug wings. Look how cute they are. So sweet. All right, and then this little guy is like, it's like a flying one, all right? So if you look at the packaging here, so we're just gonna kind of angle this like so, so it looks like it's ready to fly. And it just matches to the curvature of the body. So, all right, so there's my little ladybugs. Then I have my little stick in here, right? So we always put sticks in for the bugs to curl up in the jars, right? So, and they proportioned this so that it fits in the mason jar nicely. So let's glue that down. I promise you this is going to be a shaker card, but we have to do all the fun stuff first in the inside of our jar. All right, so there is our stick. All right, then I've cut some leaves, and this all came from the jar collection, all right? So I'm going to go ahead. I don't know how many leaves I need. I cut extras. And everything has to stay in the parameters of that mason jar. All right, you can't have anything hanging out because this is actually going to be inside our shaker that what we're working on right now. Do I want another leaf? Sure, why not? Okay, everything is good and stuck on there. All right. Now our ladybugs are going to be part of the shaker elements in here. So we're not going to glue them down, but I'm just going to place them on top of there. All right. So now that we have the mason jar kind of decorated, now I'm going to take my low tack tape off and I'm going to pull this panel off. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and put our acetate on the back of this. All right. Now the reason why we had to use this as a template, this way we got it centered perfectly. We know exactly this is going to fit over top of there and everything is going to be matchy match and perfect. All right. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of acetate and glue it on the back side or adhere it to the back side of this one. So I'm just going to trim a random piece that's going to fit on here. It doesn't need to be pretty because no one's going to see it. All right. As long as it covers the whole opening there. And then I like to use double-sided tape for this. I don't like to use liquid glue. Liquid glue and acetate are not friends. That's the way I look at it. Things slip and slide. So I always like to use a double-sided tape. Again, when I'm putting it on, it does not need to be pretty because no one is going to see the inside of this. All right, so I'm just going to go around the perimeter of that jar window, and then I'm going to lift off the release sheets here, and then we'll stick our acetate down. All right, so there's that, and then my acetate. Give it a little clean with my t-shirt. I do have some. Okay, that's clean now. So we're just going to stick that on. Just making sure that all the areas, there's no openings, no gaps. All right, so my acetate is there. Okay, so now we need to get foam tape. This is where the foam tape comes in play with this type of shaker card. All right, so Erin, you were asking about foam tape. This is the type of shaker card you want the foam tape for. So I really like using the scrapbook adhesives lines like this. So I will go around the perimeter of the window. And I love the foam tape because foam will bend, all right? So the only thing you have to make sure is that you have no holes, no gaps where your shaker elements can fall through. Um, So I just kind of curve it around and match it up end to end, making sure there are no gaps. Okay, so there are no gaps. Okay, so now I like to also then put foam tape around the edge so that there's nothing sinking, everything is raised to the right level. So now I'm just going to go ahead and put foam tape around the perimeter of the card panel. Again, it may not be pretty, but no one is going to see the inside of this. All right, we are good to go. Okay, so I have my ladybugs in here and we're not gluing them down because we want them to be able to move, all right? Maybe tabbing two might be a little too much, but it's okay. We're gonna go with it. So I'm gonna put it on there. And then I think I am going to also put in some of the little florals. Let's put some florals in there, okay? Again, I don't need a whole lot, all right? So I'm just gonna scatter them around. And I don't think I'm going to worry about any chunky glitter on this one. I'm just going to put a little bit because those ladybugs are going to be kind of the main focus there. All right. So just making sure everything is in the mason jar. And now we're going to take the release sheets off of our foam. Okay. Now, you're going to now position this over top. Now, don't be alarmed. There may be some static on your acetate that things may jump up. And when I say things, your little florals and such, just ignore it. I know it's going to be hard to. You want to have make sure you have a good bird's eye view. So I'm just going to move this down a little bit so I can get a good bird's eye view. And then you are just going to position this over top. All right. And haha, look at that. All right. Now, because I had some of the elements kind of layered on top one another, you might have to kind of tap, 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 but they're going to start moving in there. All right. So, but look at, we've got our cute little mason jar with the ladybugs and they will move. I just got to move some of those florals. And if you tap hard enough, they will move. All right. So you're going to get some movement on there, but how sweet is that? A nice little sentiment on there. And that card is done. All right. So I'll get those little elements moving. I just don't want to keep on tapping on camera, but how sweet is that? So nice, fun little shaker card using those ladybugs as a shaker element. All right. All right. So there's that. I know I did not use a lot of this foiled piece, but I think I still have a ladybug left. So I will do another sample using this one here. And let me just see. Yeah, I will make something, but I'll do it off camera, and then I'll post it with our finished samples, because I'm running out of time. I do have a Zoom call after this, so I have to call it quits because it's at 8:30. So I'm gonna bring in my finished samples now. I will get some sentiments on here. I'll get these matted on here. But how fun are these elements? I think we need a little ladybug on here. I think that would be really sweet as well. So there are the 3 cards I created. I'll do a bonus card using this one here, and then we'll post them tomorrow morning on our Facebook page. All right. So all these elements are available on our website, in terms of the Pink and Main dies, as well as the foil sheets from Pink and Main. But super, super cute. And I hope you enjoyed it tonight. So thanks everyone for joining us, whether you're joining us live or on the replay. I hope you enjoyed tonight's What's Up Wednesday. Until next time, everyone, have yourself a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.